Alright, alright, alright. We're back. Tentatively, but we're back. Alright, let's switch over to the desktop here. Yo, yo, yo. That's a certain familiar face there. How's it going? Gang. Hell yeah. Good. Feeling all hyped up for Dawn Trail? Wow. Also, you might notice I've added lots of new text redeem things. So lots of new sound effects and stuff to mess around with. Upgrade my monitor and sound system. Hell yeah. Me playing in style. That's good. I'm gonna be real. I already had a ballin' ass monitor before. Gotcha. Can't wait for summer vacation. Yeah, I'm hedging my bets a little bit. I took the day off so the timing of Dawn Trail is gonna kind of suck. Oh, I also just realized my model's not up. There we go. Hello. Just talking to empty screen here. Yeah, no, I was looking into shit. What was it? With work, my busiest times are usually at the end of quarters. So the fact that early access is over the long weekend up here in Canada, right at the start of a new quarter, kind of sucks, but my boss gave it to me. Like, I was able to take it off, so it is what it is. Have you tried not being Canadian? Well, even if I was in the US, I'd still have the problem. Because, it's 4th of July as well, roughly. A skill issue. Bloodline issue. Ah, man. But yeah, no, it's, I'm really excited for Dawn Trail. I'm excited to see what direction they take. Back when they first released, so one of the only the Final Fantasy campaign I ran, I actually sent my players to my interpretation of the new world. So I'm excited to see what I cooked up, matching up against what they did. Hey, Zyka. Schedule a quarterly meeting during vacation. Oof. Yeah, so I got like extra reasons. And also I actually really like the lore on Blue Mage. Well, I know how much my monitor costs, by the way. Here, let me take a guess. I'm gonna go with 1200. But if I'm off, let me know. Close? Oh. Yeah, you know what? I was pretty close. So that's got to be one of those like hugely wide ones that are bending, right? Like, we gotta be talking like that space station shit. I posted the specs above. Oh shit. Oh, so just really high res. Oh, like ultra wides. I wouldn't be able to do an ultra wide. I'd feel weird. I've got two pretty good quality Dell ones. I'm in a new space now. I had to move home. My landlord needed his house back. So this is the first stream since getting back home. So we'll see how the net holds up. I'm assuming everything seems fine. I'm not really seeing any hiccups, but if you guys are noticing stuff, let me know. I've also like changed my audio settings. I'm using voice mod instead of OBS filters. Because I didn't like my voice cutting out as often as it did. Yeah, we're gonna raid together again. You gotta catch some of those one-offs. But yeah, I've been raiding with like my brother and his friends, and then it's like me and Julie are still going, and then it's like my brother, a few of his friends, and then we looped in another mutual friend. So we're pretty solid at the moment. Oh yeah, no, we're in the same FC. Like, we've been playing together since A Realm Reborn. We hang out more or less every night, actually. Yeah, and Deku, yeah. We always laugh because we tend to run into you in the strangest places, right? Or like the least expected. We'll just cross paths with you and we're just like, yeah, our fates are entwined. Oh yeah. Yeah, we have a chuckle about it whenever it happens. Like, hey, guess who we ran into? Well, it's just like, we'll just run into you randomly, right? Like in Bajja in the field, or a random normal raid, stuff like that. It doesn't happen super often, but we always just like, we are in our paths will meet again. All right. Yeah, so I got, I'm using the pretzel thing for music in the background. So stream safe music. He actively let me die in Sigma. You never told me that, but I'm not surprised it happened. You liked living on the edge. Yeah. Alright. Actually, 8 Smayo used to proc shield wipe out. Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, you're an animal. It's probably a good thing they took shield swipe away from us, right? Just get the good pupper yet. You know what? I have a different kind of answer for that question. Oh, Torgal. Yeah, I did go and get Torgal. And I bought all the music and the card. I really liked 16. I played through it and really enjoyed it. I'm actually excited to see what they cook up for the DLC that's coming out. I need to check that out still. Well, still, it's not out yet, but I'm interested in grabbing that when it comes out. But I got a different kind of pupper around now. Oh, it's out now? I might be running behind a little bit. I just finished up Dragon's Dogma 2, and then like I was like, alright, I've been putting off my D&D book long enough, I need to dig in and just start going for it. But yeah, you might hear a dog in the background. So my sister has a Pomeranian, and he generally he's pretty quiet, but he hates when other animals pass the house. So you might hear him in the background popping off downstairs. But I've got like a limiter on my mic, so hopefully it doesn't peak. It should be all good. But just giving the heads up. Alright. Well. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I wanted to talk about how I've been doing with the whole Project Meteor Survivor, because the last time I did a like a substantial update to this thing, I accidentally released a bunch of alpha builds into the real build, and I was just like, well, it's out there, so there you go. Rising Tide DLC's out, by the way. Alright, I will pivot to grab that, I think. I haven't done the, I know they released one for Omega as well. Sold it once I finished. Oh, you weren't counting on the DLC. Yeah, they did like a second side story I haven't touched yet. But yeah, so last time I did like a huge surge of updates to this thing. We did, you know, I'll just go to the page here. So we knocked off Paladin, Ninja, Bard, Monk, and then I did so there's a Discord server for the book that's fed to from the subreddit for the book. Reddit's been acting kind of weird, I'm gonna be honest. I don't like that they made a deal with some like AI company and they're gonna feed the entirety of Reddit's conversations into it. Which is gonna like that AI is not gonna be okay after they do that, for one. But also there's just like a weird premise thing where Reddit's just been like acting really scummy for a long time. So I haven't really been using it all that often. So I've mainly communicated about the project through the Discord now. But I did a poll where I asked people to tell me what are the classes you think need the most love. And I listed the ones that were obvious to me. I was like, alright, so we need to split Arcanist out into Summoner and Scholar. Sage needs some love, because I never went back to fix it up after it came out. Gunbreaker needed love. Those were like my 4 big ones, and then I gave them an other. And generally I was on the pulse. Over about half the people said, yeah, split Arcanist out as like the most pressing thing. And then Sage and Gunbreaker were the next like highest ones. Astrologian's rated pretty high as well for needing love. And then there's like the one-offs that are like Ninja needs love, or Dragoon does. Dragoon definitely needs help on its mechanics. But yeah. Gunbreaker that I'm looking forward to, because one of my BFs has a Gunbreaker in one of my partner's campaigns. Ah, gotcha. Well, it's a good thing you're here today, because Gunbreaker is going to be my focus when we actually get down to working. I just wanted to like give like a brief update on the other classes before I dove into it, just to show them off. Because so far I've only released them in like a pre-alpha build in the Discord for people to give me some candid feedback. So yeah, I'm gonna start just going over them real quick, and then we'll go from there. So with the Scholar, one thing I thought was really good from the Arcanist build was the tactics. And though it was kind of strong, I really liked the idea of it. Because in lore, the whole idea behind the Scholars is they're backliners. They make sure that the frontliners stay alive and fight well. So they're very much tacticians in my mind. So I wanted to keep that element to them and keep it attached to them. And then Summoners kind of got totally reworked as their own thing. So basically I made it so they can use their tactics more often, but they have less at a time. So like it progresses with their proficiency bonus, and then it recovers on short rests, and they can swap their tactics out when they do their rests and stuff. So you're not limited to just taking a single thing early on, and then you're like, man, I barely use this thing, I'm fucking locked into it. So I've loosened that up quite a bit with the new Scholar build. And then they have both carbuncles and their like EOS, but they can, like, Scholars can use carbuncles, Arcanists can use the Fae. Like, they can take it in either direction. They kept their spellbook casting. Yeah, they got their stat block for their summon. The real flavor comes from the archetypes. So Arcanist is the more focused on doing damage and being a proper caster, whereas the Scholar's focused on, or I called it the Nimian. The Nimian is focused on like support and healing and shielding. The Arcanist can like add additional buffs to their summons as well. So like, and they can like look through them and all that jazz. So they get some like extra sense stuff, and you know, there's some room. One of my favorite things I did, so I kind of had like a parallel drawn between the Scholars and the Summoners, where I wanted Summoners to have like an accrual of power nonstop, whereas the Scholar has an average pet that has like a massive surge in power temporarily. So for the Arcanist that uses carbuncles, like they're intended to use carbuncles, but they can use the other thing too. But assuming they have a carbuncle out, they can turn their summon into the proto carbuncle, which is those that haven't done the Endwalker raids. You'll recognize the name Proto Carbuncle and you'll be like, yes. But essentially it's just like a big violent carbuncle that spews acid and it's just like physically really strong. Yeah, so they can summon the Proto Carbuncle for a minute. And then for the Nimian, they get their Seraph. So they can turn their Fae into the Seraph like they do in-game. And the Seraph just has a lot better casting. It has more spells and more spell slots. And just like has better general healing. So the idea is like, if your team is getting their ass kicked, you whip out the Seraph and it should turn a fight around. Very quickly. And then the Tactician leans more heavily into that the tactical approach. So they get some extra bulk. They can use the help action at a distance. They get double the they get extra tactics that they can memorize, so they can have a huge breadth of options. And they can swap them out as well. So like if you're like, oh shit, I wish I'd prepped this really niche tactic, but I didn't. Their capstone is being able to swap in and out your things. And boosting crit for the party. So the Tactician isn't particularly super interesting, but I feel like it offers a lot of strong options. And then the other two, I think, are the more interesting ones to play. But I feel like I covered the general class fantasy for it, you know? So yeah, that's our Scholar build. I plan to add these in the near future to the main book. I want to do it in like a big surge. So I'll move on to Summoner next, where another pet class, obviously. So at the start, they start summoning their dude. But what I've done with the summons for the Summoner is they kind of have a blank slate. So they have the elemental Eggy, and you pick the element that your Eggy represents when you pull it out, and then it gets like an additional buff or change to its thing. So, yeah, I don't specify the damage. I just say it's elemental damage, and then depending on which Eggy you chose, it changes the damage type. And like, so in my mind, I had like the Earth one is Titan, the Fire one's Ifrit. Like, it's supposed to represent the 6 base primals, but I didn't explicitly name them because I wanted there to be room for people to flavor it however they want, so it can be world friendly, for like settings outside of Final Fantasy, and even like regional friendly. Like if someone wanted to try and run a campaign that's not in Eorzea, it doesn't make sense for them to be summoning Ifrit if Ifrit doesn't exist in the land that they're in. Like if I wanted an Earth Eggy, whip out the Sephiroth instead of Titan. Just for an example. So I've allowed for that option in here. And then the other key thing is I gave them a trance thing, so they can attune to one of the 6 elements, and they can swap out one of their known cantrips and gain some resistances based on which element they want to attune to, which they do at the start of their adventuring day, or when you finish a long rest. So these 2 things, it's pretty front load heavy in terms of like offering tons of options, but I feel like it's balanced by them using a so this is like a little me having a brain blast moment. I don't know how widely accurate this is, or like if people notice this and I was just late to the party. But I noticed depending on what spell progression a class has, it changes the way that they prepare their spells. So like I'm not sure how Artificer works. I haven't looked at it too deeply recently. But general rule of thumb from the player's handbook, the Int caster uses the spell book. So wizard. Anyone that was running off wisdom has access to their full list of spells, and they prep them at the start of each day, as opposed to being locked into a spell book or strict learning. And then the charisma casters, they all have a strict, like, I leveled up, I learned 2 spells. I don't swap these out until I level up. So I noticed there's like a pattern like that, and I'm going to break convention with it a little bit with Sage, I think. But I noticed that was like a general pattern of design that they had. So having the front load of all the like summoning the ally and having your trances and stuff is traded off with the more limited spell progression. What else to talk about on Summoner? Oh, I need to update that table because I couldn't make energy drain work in a way that wasn't broken. This is actually a lesson in resource management for a class. So when you summon like a creature, it has hit dice, right? So my original thought was the summoner could dip into using the hit dice of their summon to power their spells. But then I realized if your summon dies, you can resummon it using one of your spell slots and it comes back at full health. And I couldn't find anything about the ruling on what happens when you resummon your thing after it dies. Because it's such a niche case, because I was looking for like what happens to the hit dice of the creature. People barely even think about the hit dice for their creatures on a good day. So there's just nothing out there to support it. So I basically interpreted it as unfavorably as possible, and decided that they could abuse it. They'd be able to kill their Aggie, resummon it, and have an infinite number of spell slots if they wanted. So we moved away from that. And instead they just have the wizard spell slot recovery system. Yeah, so the other key thing to talk about with this one is the paths. So there's 3 very specific archetypes here that I was going for. So the evoker is probably what everyone pictures when you're thinking summoner. It's you summon your Eggy, and then as you progress along your adventure, your Eggy gets stronger. It takes like bigger forms, it gets more options. The way I show that is through it gains spell casting as you level up. So at 6th level, it gets 1st and 2nd level spells. And then when it reaches the peak of its summoning strength, it gets 3rd level spells that it can use. Because you also don't want the Eggy to outpace you as a spellcaster. Because it's supposed to be an assistant. It's not supposed to be the caster. And then there's one built around the trances. So the attunements to the elements. Where you can also... I didn't mention this before, but they have a part of their mechanic is for a minute you can get a surge of power. So it's supposed to be like getting Dreadworm Trance, where you do bonus damage with the cantrip that you got from attuning, and you do, so you just do bonus damage, and I forgot what the other piece of it was. Oh yeah, and you have better accuracy. Your spells are more potent for a minute. And eventually they do get Dreadworm Trance and Phoenix Trance. So they gain a flying speed, they do bonus damage. Phoenix does less bonus damage but does some healing instead. They can attune with multiple elements. They get a special buff based on which element you're attuned to. So if you're doing earth, you get tremor sense. If you're fire, you can turn yourself into a little torch. Just for a couple examples there. And then you would get both effects when you attune to 2 elements at 6th level. So you can mix and match however you like to help you explore whatever area that you're in. And then the Allegan one was focused on using your Eggy like it's a resource. So you can drain its health to do bonus damage on your spells. You can transfer your damage over to it. You can share your health or take health out of it. And if you die, you can axe your Eggy to come back up. If you're knocked out, your Eggy can just share its health with you. So there's no killing you unless you're killed outright. There's not really any killing you unless your Eggy's gone first. So very much it's like a selfish, I ain't dying kind of approach to it. But yeah, that's Summoner. I'm really happy with how those two turned out. And the last one I've been working on, and this was just over the last couple of days, was Sage. My first release of Sage had a lot of assumptions about it being a high-tech thing, and I built it based off of what they showed in the trailer before Endwalker came out. So it was based off the class showcase where they just show what the skills look like, and the limited lore that we had. So this has been rebuilt to be more lore friendly, where it talks about the Adder Stones and ancient healing methods, all that kind of thing. And basically the idea is you always want to be outputting some kind of healing, and you can manipulate your healing spells to be shielding spells instead. And then rather than having a spell for damage, you just shoot your energy through your Nulith things. So hypothetically, if you're silenced, you can still shoot your beams using Dosis, which is intentional. This one, there's still some advice that I got back from the early release to everyone that I haven't dug into yet. But I was thinking this will go back to being a spellbook style spellcaster. And then just tweaking the way that some of the features work. So Savant's focused on the healing, so it's got your standard healer loadout, or your healer specialist loadout, where you do bonus healing, you heal yourself when you heal. The unique one for this one is you can convert temporary hit points into healing. So you can turn your shield into a heal. And then there's one that's more focused on using Cardia more effectively. So you can cast spells that would normally only target yourself. So for a Sage, the shield spell, you could use your reaction to cast shield on whoever you have Cardia on, for example. Then there's like a lesser version of that where you can just add a little bit of extra protection. Eventually you're able to Cardia multiple people. And then I liked what I did with Haima, where the inspiration for it was, like Call of Duty and stuff like that. The people that play with a riot shield and a pistol. The idea is like setting up a riot shield for your party members to approach more safely. So it gives them half cover. And then having half cover has specific things that, like specific effects. So +2 to AC and advantage on dex saves. And then finally the Erudite, which is focused on... I feel like there wasn't any classes that really utilized poison in a way that was useful for the long term. Because once you get into like the higher level content in a game, almost every creature's resistant to poison, immune to poison, it becomes like almost useless depending on your campaign. So the goal with this one was to basically inflict like an ether sickness, because you're blasting them with just like raw magic power, right? Or like raw life energy. So the idea is that you're corrupting them and you're like messing up with like the internal functions of their body. So it's not a true poison like you'd get from an animal, but it's essentially like almost like a radiation poisoning or something. Like it's affecting them on a more minute level. So the idea is you can inflict poison with your Dosis attack. You can bypass poison immunity. And when something's poisoned and it gets attacked by your party, they get advantage on that attack, which is very strong. So it's very much you're marking people for death and just like completely locking them down. They get poisoned, they're fighting more weakly, and your party fights better against the poison target. And then that just advances further and further, where now there's a dot, and then you can do it a lot more often by the time like you've mastered the approach. So those are kind of like the 3 paths for Sage. I'm pretty happy with it. It's just some of the feedback was saying giving the flight speed later on feels like it's waiting too long. So I'm debating on moving that earlier and then having it scale up, and then adding like a barrier thing that people can do at 18th level. But it's one of the tricky things when you're doing casters for homebrew, because if you take a look at the class table here, you're very much front loaded on your features, and then the general progression of a casting class is pretty blank. Anytime that you're getting a new tier of spells unlocked, generally you're not getting a class feature as well. And then you get your ability score, and then you get another spell slot level, and then you get your class feat, and then you get like your archetype feature. So like it's just very crowded because of the spell slot progression. And you can ignore it, but then your class might get very strong very quickly if you're jamming so much into it. But I feel like breaking from tradition where it makes sense isn't a bad idea. So yeah, those tweaks are probably going to come in. I'll probably like maybe each time they get a specialization update, they get some flight speed. So like at 6th level they get 15 feet of flying, and then 10th level they get the 30, 14th level they're up to 45, and then 18th they're getting the full flight, or maybe full flight with hover. So like they're not able to just zip around freely. They have to like come back down, but they can like get over a target or get up onto a ledge, stuff like that, and then just hover. I don't know. I have to think on it a little bit more. And their capstone is basically when they die, like if they get KO'd and they're not outright killed, they encase themselves in a shield and get a heal to themselves. And then they have like a turn of immunity where they can fix the party back up. Because if your back line's going down, your front line's probably not looking so hot either. So it's very much like the desperation play where it's like, all right, with some tight maneuvering, you can get your fight back on track. Yeah, so those are the 3 that I've worked on over the last month or so. I've been put it in the work, but I've been doing it in like the corner by myself and haven't really been showing off what I've been doing. Yeah. And yeah, like one of my really big goals was to have all these updates complete by the time Dawn Trail comes out. And I feel like lighting a fire under my ass to make rapid progress like this was important to get me back on track towards that. Because, you know, like over the last month, I've been kind of like treading water a little bit with it. I was focused on a lot of life stuff, right? Because, like, I mean, moving's pretty stressful. Work was absolutely bonkers. I was totally underwater at work, so like I'd get off shift and just have no energy. And then I also run a D&D campaign too, like on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis, so I have to do all that prep work for the campaign too. So I just didn't have time, and I was running on fumes a little bit. But I'm glad to finally like get pen to paper, because I've been thinking a lot. And that kind of brings us on to our next thing here. I have a D&D every Saturday. Yeah, I feel like I would burn out doing it weekly, but having it weekly would be a lot of fun as well. Alright, crack a cold one. One as a bun boy. Is it multiple campaigns that you're running or are a part of? I mean, I guess this is my project. So I'm debating on if I plug this in my Discord that I'm working on, Gunbreaker now. You know what? I may as well, because people probably would be interested in seeing what I'm up to. Here, give me a second. We might get a flood of people, we might not, we'll see. But I will mention it to the horde. Temp FB Gunbreaker. Nah. I will, you know what? I will mention it in self-promotion though. Get ready for the clicky clack ASMR going forward, because we're gonna be typing away now. There. plug that in self-promo. People can check it out if they like. Hell yeah. Oh, one of them's actually streamed. Nice. I always wonder how I feel. Like, I used to stream the Final Fantasy campaign originally, because my free company was actually pretty big for a time. So originally I was trying to do like a West Marches campaign where you have like a large number of players that rotated out. But in the end we ended up with a core group anyway. But I'd stream it so the FC members could watch, but eventually it was just streaming to an empty audience because, you know, people get busy. But I always feel I personally feel a pressure. Maybe it's because I'm a DM when I'm streaming D&D. How do you find it? Are you pretty comfy with the stream game, or do you ever feel like you're spotlighted? But yeah. I guess the other thing to note, I got like the early portion of this. I'm not the one streaming it, but I'm always mute for it anyway. Ah, gotcha. That makes sense. I had a mute player in my streamed game as well. For my player in that one, we assumed anything they typed in chat was sent using the message cantrip. And that's just how their character communicated. And any casting they did was like whispered really, really quietly, but still counted. And we ended up working that into their backstory too. Their character was an astrologian. And they took the hermit background. And their whole character arc was kind of centered around their mentor was trying to open a rift in time in order to weaponize Bahamut's Gigaflare from the 7th Umbral Calamity. And he is going to like open time warps above Garlemald to blow it up was the guy's main goal. And that's why he was like a disgraced scholar and thrown to the wolves, so to speak, by his peers. Common as a second language because they were raised by dragons. Ooh, that's fun. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to start digging into Gunbreaker. One thing I thought was really interesting from my original Gunbreaker build, in terms of like lessons learned, was the idea of adding a feature to a character and then adding an objectively better feature in every way later that completely kills the first feature. Because that was kind of the issue I ran into with Gunbreaker that a lot of people pointed out, was like, when will I ever use the base burst strike when there's objectively better burst strikes across the board? And also, I had made using your burst strike so clunky because I had it with a spell save DC. And maybe it was pride, maybe it was just like trying to be different for the sake of being different. But there's a trigger system right there staring me in the face the whole time. I had no reason to not use it. Paladin's Smite. It works the exact same way and more cleanly. So that is the core that I'm using for Gunbreaker's burst strike in this rework, is the Paladin's Smite. So if you hit, you pop a munition and you do your bonus damage. Easy. but then we can add those additional effects and tweaks to it through the archetypes and like class things. So your burst strike kind of becomes a Swiss Army knife of different things you can do with it. But like not doing it in a way that completely invalidates burst strike itself. So we got like the up front, the first 5 levels locked down. Like I was doing some work on it last night a little bit. So your munitions are based on your proficiency. Did I say it was proficiency bonus? Oh no, Gunbreaker level rounded, half your Gunbreaker level rounded up, because I wanted a different progression speed for them. Because going 2, 2, 2, 2 for 4 levels. Early on, there's not much of a difference, but once you get to the later portions, when you're 20th level, would you rather have 10 munitions to work with or 6? Right? So that's why I picked that kind of progression instead. And then I just explained the burst strike change. Fighting style, that's fighting style. Not much different there. Instead of going through the trouble of creating that revolver gunblade mashup, so you're just like a weak version of a ranger or something for your ranged attacks, I instead gave a situational lightning blade. So you do have a ranged option that's shorter, but I feel like it makes more sense and it fits in with the game's options a little better. So I'm justifying it as your like charging munitions and stuff has a byproduct of like storing electricity in your blade, and then that's what you use for lightning blade. So you just like shoot out your blades of lightning as a ranged attack, nice and easy. You make a weapon attack roll, 30 feet range. You do lightning damage instead of your regular damage. So you have a little bit of variation in your damage types, and you have a ranged option if you can't quite close a gap or something's flying out of range. Alright, what else do we got here? So breaker style, I'm still keeping that naming convention, I think. I thought it worked. Like, just like, what's your sword style, what's your gunbreaker style. And the core, the first two, I was happy with the idea. I think the Vanguard could have been handled better, but I liked Lionheart at its core. So you have one that's more focused on tanking and protection versus DPS. I need to figure out an outfit I'm gonna get married in. Ooh, are you this will sound is it a 14 wedding or is it a real life wedding? In game. Nice. Yeah, it's always fun. You either take it seriously or take it to the meme zone. I know when I did mine, I took it seriously. Used the outfit they gave us and all that. But I've also seen a friend use, the tin can suit of armor. I've seen someone wear that for their wedding and just absolutely meme it up. I think the other person had the fat chocobo head on. Good times. We actually used to have a tradition in the free company whenever there was a wedding, because we were a free company back when weddings were first introduced to the game. Anytime that there was a free company wedding, we'd all get on. So I had the Gubu mount that had the flower crown, and I would lead us back to the FC house from the temple. RP walking the whole way, and we just like chat as we did our little pilgrimage. So you always knew there was it was lore at the time. There's always you would know there was a lore wedding when there's the big parade of people. Not that people were taking note, but you could tell when something was up. Yeah, that was always a good time. Yeah. Alright, so back to Gunbreaker here. I was getting a feel for the order of types of features I wanted to do. Some feedback I've gotten about the classes is people were finding, even though like it's a big damage spike around level 5, going from ability score increase to a passive boost in power for your melees, where it's just like, yeah, you attack twice now, which is super good, but it's not super interesting. And then going straight into an exploration feature, people definitely need something to chew on at like after that valley of passive abilities. They want something to use. So 7th level, I definitely want to be a battle feature. And then they would get an ability score increase at 8. And then I think another interactive feature at 9 is like appropriate pacing. I really liked this diplomatic enforcer ability that Gunbreaker has currently, where you're buffing your party's... Basically, if you're with your party's mouthpiece, they can talk better because you're back there just like giving the presence of this person's important, and I'm intimidating you to listen to them. So it's not that you're the one directly socializing, but you're helping someone else do it just by being there. But yeah, after that kind of rush, I'm not sure. The later levels, I'm not sure what I'm doing with yet. But I knew for the archetypes, I had a good idea of what I wanted to do. Where, so Lionheart definitely wants to get the elemental attacks going. They have that in the original build. I think it's a good thing for them to have. It's just going to be done a little more cleanly. So as a Lionheart, your Burst Strike's going to do a little bit of bonus damage, and you can switch the element around. So, nice and easy, straightforward. Nothing too crazy, but still quite good. I also wasn't sure if I wanted to give them unique capstones based on their breaker style. I mean, it doesn't hurt, but truthfully, Gunbreaker doesn't have a ton of flavor to break off into different directions. And like there's the whole feeling of like you want them to feel like they have a good core, and then the specializations are truly specializations. So Lionheart's focused on elements and like focused on doing the damage and being mobile, whereas the Vanguard's more focused on being up front, maintaining control of the battlefield and protecting. And then for the third one, my thought was having them use the munitions in like stranger ways, right? So if we go over to like the Gunbreaker job guide and take a look at the skills that they have, I always thought camouflage was a standout early skill because it's weird. It's very weird to me. Increases your parry rate by 50% and reduces damage taken. So like camouflage, the way I take it is like it's almost like you're cloaking yourself in magic to like hide yourself a little bit. So I was thinking like rather than it being a damage reducer thing, it's a way for Gunbreaker to cast invisibility on themselves. So that, and then that kind of plays into, you know, like how Thancred in-game has like those stealth abilities and stuff. I feel like it's a little nod to him. I could probably rename this from, ooh, you know what? Before my eyes, the theming's coming together. If we use Thancred as our example, we can almost do like a subterfuge approach, where you use your munitions in dirty ways. And it's more like or not dirty, but like more sneaky, a sneaky approach. So like you use it to get advantages over your opponent, rather than just outright doing damage or being tanky. I like it. I like it. I think that's the direction we're gonna go. To be fair though, Thancred did start as a rogue. Yeah. Though the love I replayed a good chunk of Shadowbringers not long ago. And that whole thing where he like, hey, Meowcat McBiceps, a really swole Jeff raid. Hell yeah. Hey Jeff, how's it going? Welcome in, welcome in. Say hello to our fellow Canuck here, Jeff McBiceps. Really cool guy. You guys should check him out. Let me get the shout out. We're talking about D&D building here, so it's a very niche topic today. But hey, thanks for the follow. Yeah, so those who are meeting me for the first time here. So my name's Soren. I've been a D&D homebrewer. I make like custom classes and stuff. I've been doing it for it's probably been about 7 years now. And my crowning achievement is I'm the designer behind the Final Fantasy XIV to D&D adaptation. So that's kind of like my some people have a little claim to fame. That one's mine. It's for the specific niche of D&D and Final Fantasy. My work's probably one of the most accessed out there. I'm not going to say I'm the tip top of the pyramid, but I do cover the niche pretty widely, and my stuff's pretty widely used. But yeah, I also stream and play older stuff. I like retro games, I like platformers, adventure games, and fumble along. This is my first stream back since moving as well, so good times, good times. So yeah, thanks for coming in and joining up. Alright, so yeah, and thanks for the follows, Menaced and Arctos. Yeah, if you want to get a little insight into like game designing, balancing, stuff like that for tabletop, yeah, come hang out and see what we're cooking up. We're working on those of you that know Final Fantasy, you might know about the Gunblade. It first kind of came into the series in Final Fantasy VIII. Your model's hair looks like a question mark. Yep. The inspiration was, So like I do a lot of dungeon mastering, and when I first started, my goal was to be very D&D focused. I was going to make like D&D videos and how-to guides. So the idea was it was going to be like a quest giver's question mark over their head, but as hair was the inspiration there. Also, thanks for swinging by, Jeff. I'll see you around. Enjoy your, I'm assuming dinner at this point. I want to make a new character, but I don't know what class I want to do. Ooh. They got so many good options, eh? I always advise try something new, you know? Like, they got so many different options that, like, dipping into the different different available things keeps the game fresh. And you kind of, like, they all offer different challenges, right? So, what do you usually tend to play when you're playing D&D? Are you more like a sword and shield kind of guy? Are you a spellcaster? There's all kinds of different approaches you can take. I know I kind of lean towards like the frontliner characters and like when I do play, I like playing paladins. Ooh, Dragonborn Barbarian. That's a nice combo. Actually, in my campaign that I'm running right now, one of the early villains was a Dragonborn Barbarian, and that the party had to take down. Caster for a different playstyle, yeah. Or if you want to have a mix, you could go for one of those half casters. Like, yeah, you could do. I guess Ranger's kind of lacking in terms of combat stuff, but they got exploration stuff. Yeah, Blade Singers are. I've never actually messed around with Blade Singer too much. Bard or Warlock. Ooh, yeah. So I was actually talking to my buddy the other day about doing a Warlock build that you mix with Fighter. So like you'd have like, I don't know if you take the Fighter first or the Warlock first, but the idea was like going for a Hexblade Warlock, and you dip Fighter for the action surge and the fighting style and all that. And it's basically you're just a servant to the cursed sword that you picked up. There's a lot of really good role-playing opportunity for Warlocks. Yeah, I've only played a handful of characters personally. Like, I'm one of those guys that are one of those forever DMs. So, but the few times I've played, I've done a good old white bread human paladin. Let's see what else. And then I did a Dragonborn Warlock. I played Pathfinder once, and for that one I played a half-orc alchemist. And then, I actually was on a podcast a few months ago talking about this project, and we did a live play where I played as my my monk class, and I played a human monk for that. Yeah, that was a really good time. It was the Roll for Booty podcast on YouTube. It's already a Warlock character made for the campaign that I'm joining, so maybe I should do Bard. Yeah, you could do that. I think Bard has a... Yeah. I guess it depends on the role that you're looking to fill in the group as well. If you're looking to be more like the support, Bard has a lot of great stuff. Yeah, either way, you're going to be good at talking. Chaos like usual. Alright. Let's see, so... What was I talking about on Gunbreaker again? It's so easy to get sidetracked talking D&D. You can go in so many directions. Yeah, the third style would be more subterfuge. Yeah. Thanks, Crudes. Yeah, so we're kind of pulling in inspirations from the lore Gunbreakers, who were like the Royal Guard protectors, and then we're nodding to Squall from Final Fantasy VIII with the Lionheart style, which is focused on changing elements with your burst strike and attacking that way. And then your third one being subterfuge. Wow, I haven't streamed enough lately. I'm getting all tongue-tied. Subterfuge, and a nod to Thancred and the stuff that he does. All right, we got our skeletons in place. That's good. So we got ideas. And we just have to put them down. Hydrate. Where did I put my water? There it is. Oh, is my model gonna flip out? It's got a bad habit of flipping out if I move too far from the camera. Come on. If I do the palm thing. And we're back. As long as it doesn't do its backflip and like twist its head around like it does. Yeah, so yeah, we got 3 pretty good things to lean on for this. So subterfuge will use their munitions. Yeah, they'll use their munitions to, you know, sneak around. They can turn invisible. They can distract enemies. I don't know the specifics yet. Yeah, kind of funny. You're almost aligning them like PvP Gunbreaker. Oh yeah, with the draw injunction ability, right? God, I was doing some pre-scouting. Oh man, isn't that just a fun little coinky dink? Yeah, because I was looking at the PvP stuff earlier for them, and I was like, man, I wish there's a way to like do draw injunction in a way that made sense. Because in itself, it's kind of a reference to Final Fantasy VIII having that ability. But yeah, I was looking at it and it's just like, God, that'd be cool to incorporate into D&D, but like it's not like monsters have types. You know, like it's not like the Shambling Mound is a tank type, so you get the certain thing. That's very subjective. But yeah, no, that's a really good call out that it's kind of lining up like that. You can name some of the Squall stuff after it, but as a whole mechanic, it'd be as taxing as Blue. Yeah. And Blue already really struggles to work in D&D. It unfortunately, I think it needs a rework still. Like it needs yet another rework because I'm not happy with it. Or just some smoothing out without DM buy-in. That's the biggest thing. You need the DM to buy in if you're going to play it. If the DM's not interested, Blue is just like a scuffed warlock. Which is unfortunate because it's such a cool class and it sucks that it like just has to stay in some little bubble. It's sad DM that no one wants to buy in with. Yeah. I feel that. I always feel shoot, what is it? I got really excited the other day, actually. So like with my DMing, so a lot of my players, it's their first time playing in a campaign. we started off doing the Stranger Things box, and then they're like, that was really fun. We should keep playing. Why don't we turn this into an actual campaign? And I was like, all right, I'll spin it off into something. And we've been playing for like 2 years now. But for this campaign. But early on, like the character arcs, the players weren't really like they're still getting used to the whole idea of even just role playing and creating characters, right? So trying to get like backstory and stuff. The first guy, he had a backstory to his character, but he didn't really roleplay it super well. So like no one knew what was going on, and then he's like, guys, we have to go and fight this thing over here. But he wouldn't share information with the party about his character. So it kind of just made the whole thing feel kind of stiff for everyone that wasn't him. But he came to me the other day and he's like, hey, his character ended up dying, by the way, so he's playing a new character. He's playing a Reaper now. But he came to me the other day because his newer character just kind of got slotted in to fill in the lost character so that he could keep playing with us. But he hasn't had like the backstory opportunities. His character's just been met with failure after failure. Like he picked a fight with a green mage and lost in a one-on-one fight. For example. And he was kidnapped by hags, and they experimented on him, and the party had to rescue him. They watched him get mauled by a monster that he provoked. Like, dude has not had a good time as a character. The point I wanted to make, though, is he came to me recently because we're moving out of an area into a new area. And he was like, hey, we never really touched on this guy's backstory, did we? I was like, nah. He's like, well, if my guy's from this place. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. You can give the party some local roots. And we've been working on kind of like just where his character came from, what his origin point is, and how he fits into the world more generally. And I don't know, it made me happy seeing like someone that really struggled at first with the roleplay aspect being willing to like, I want to insert my character into the world. I want to come up with a backstory. I want to re-engage and like make my guy feel like part of the world and not just a character. I don't know, it made me happy. It felt like he was coming into his own, seeking out stuff like that. Yeah, big growth. And now that we're getting towards the end of the campaign, like we're not at the very end, but like if a play has 3 acts, we're in the 3rd act, you know? Now we're looking forward to like the future campaign as well and what we're gonna do once we're done with this one. So I'm excited to see, like, after playing D&D for 2 years, how they engage with the game after that. I want to offer promotion of your channel. You know what? I think I'm okay. Be smited. Man. Have y'all ever heard of dead internet theory? Because I'm starting to feel like it's slowly coming in true. Power word ban. Hell yeah. Like, I don't think it'll ever be as bad as the theory suggests. But, like, I'm starting to see the shades of it, you know? Like, you look on Twitter, and the replies are just full of bots, engagement baiting, and, like, sextortion bots. And then, like, you look on... My brother was actually telling me about something that... I guess it's not bots, but have you guys ever heard about the content farms for TikTok? They have, like, rows and rows of people set up with... like phones and ring lights, or maybe not the people are making the content, but like they just have like rows of people making YouTube shorts, splicing shit together and posting it. So like, I don't know if how many people are using TikTok, but like, you know, like the Reddit story times that are just run through a e-reader. And then they play the e-reading over someone doing a Minecraft jump puzzle. Like, they have like warehouses full of people making that shit and posting it online. Like, it's very dystopian. Streamer houses, but en masse. Yeah, exactly. I actually I watch a lot of Philip DeFranco. He was kind of like my post-work, I'm eating dinner and doing stuff around the house news source. I saw a post from him. One of his most recent episodes was talking about this, I think. There's like a massive streamer bubble. Oh wait, no, this wasn't Philip DeFranco, it was Asmongold was touching on this one. There's like a big streamer bubble in China right now, where the ratio of people that consider themselves professional streamers, you have more people doing that than like layman work in like specific categories. So the comparison that he pulled was garbage men in America to like the population of America versus the streamers versus the general population. And just like an unsustainable number of people are trying to do the content creation as their primary line of work. And they're like complaining about it being a saturated market and not being able to make ends meet. Sounds like a really tough situation, but you know, I have to go back and watch the video a little more closely because I was taking the dog for a walk while I was listening. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're in a very dystopian place when it comes to our information tech, you know, like starting to see all the bots talk to each other, and they'll like ping off each other and keep replying to each other fighting sometimes. I've seen that a couple times online. The one I've been really feeling the pinch on is the people looking for, they'll like contact you for art commissions, but like they always open pleasantly, and then they're like, I'm actually an artist looking for commissions, and like a part of me is like, oh, I feel really bad like turning you down because you're just out here hustling, right? Like you're just trying to make ends meet as an artist. I respect the hustle, but then I took the bait, or I say bait, I engaged once to see like how it went because I did need something at the time, and I noticed like the work that they had done was like kinda posture check. They had kinda like traced prior work, and like you could tell that they traced certain parts of it, and I was just like, ooh, I don't like that at all. So you're actually like Frankensteining pieces of work together to create new art. So it's like doing the AI art thing, but without an AI. And they're super forceful too. Like I try to like offer them the kind rejection where I'm like, oh, it's just not in my budget right now, or I'm not really looking at the moment. And they're like, oh, money's not an issue, you can pay me back later, come on, just do it, like let me sign you up for it and do the work for you. And it's just like, come on, I'm saying no, I'm doing it politely, don't make me do this. So I've kind of just I've kind of just landed on outright blocking them when they come for me now, because they don't take no for an answer, they just keep pushing. And like I can picture the setup now. Oh yeah, the other thing about that was the artists that did the tracing and stuff, their PayPal was like, it was clearly like a corporation email. Like it wasn't like jimmysmith@gmail.com doing his work. It was like Art Solutions LLC. You know, like I'm just like coming up with names off the cuff. I don't remember the specific names, but like it's just like I feel like you are being shady as hell right now. And I asked them too. I asked them point blank, is this your email, or like do you work under like an art group? And they're like, oh no, like this is my friend's email. Mine got banned off PayPal. Like they just came up with a bullshit excuse, and it was just like, yikes. But yeah, it's weird. It's a weird engagement. I don't like it. Wow. So stay safe. This is my cat's email address. Please hire me. I had one of them pull the like oh fuck. I always want to be a decent guy, right? Like I want to be a good man and like believe in the best in people. But when I say no to like having them do a commission for me, and then they're like, please take it, my parents are sick and I need the medicine money, and it's just like, god damn it. Oh, you know, I would love to help you, but I'm not the Red Cross, you know, like I can't help every single person that comes through the door, especially when there's like 7 or 8 of you coming to me a week. I gotta be on a list or something, you know? I know the info dealers, they all trade lists around and then sell them to corporations for people to contact. And it's just like, oof. It's all so shady. It's so weird. All right. So, about Gunbreaker. Yeah. I can get myself back on track. I love yapping. I don't know what I'm gonna do about the capstone thing. I've got to run, but it was nice to yap with you. Yeah, good to meet you. I'll see you around. Have a good one. Let me see here. Okay, so we know... I'm going to kind of take this approach of we'll pencil in abilities that Gunbreaker has in place, and then we'll figure out what it does after. I think that's a good way to approach this. We know 6th level is going to be exploration stuff as well, so I'm going to leave that alone. So I think for strategist, originally I was thinking Heart of Stone, but I think that might actually be better as a class feature thing, like a battle feature. I'm gonna throw it at level 11 for now, but we'll probably change that. Because we're thinking for strategists, we'll make it camouflage. Hey, did you know one of the most stressful things about streaming is spelling things in front of people? Camouflage. Like, I swear I got this, but not on the spot, apparently. I think I'd flunk out on the spelling bee. Yeah. I am a spelling specialist. Oh, man. Yeah, I always, a little bit overthinking. Alright, so let's see. What are their buffs and stuff? I think... Okay. Continuation. I think this has potential to work in. So obviously we can't do like... There's no difference in like Gnashing Fang, Savage Claw, Wicked Talon. Like, those are all just swing your sword. And then continuation is working working attacks in between those. But what if when you use your burst strike, you get your continuation proc, which is just going to be like a bonus attack after you hit with a after you hit using a burst strike. So that way it kind of works in like the using ammunition to do your attack, and then you get a follow-up attack. But we'll make it work on a bonus action. So I'm going to pencil that in because it's pretty strong. I'm going to pencil it in for 10th level on the DPS one. Because we want our DPS one to feel like he's doing the biggest damage of the bunch. And we're going to give them the tools to do it. Let's see. What else do we got here? Bloodfest. Oh, I had an idea for this. It's a bit of a... I want to call it an odd idea. But I was thinking if you crit, you just get ammunition back. So like, you land a critical hit, bam. Here's ammunition back, you charged it off of them. So it's a low chance of happening, but it's a strong thing to like sustain you in a fight. Especially if you end up mixing your classes with other classes and stuff. Like my players have really gotten into multi-classing lately. Almost everyone's dipping 2 levels fighter now. But the main guy, like, I would call him like the lead fighter. He's a barbarian. He's doing a frenzy barbarian that dipped a few levels of fighter. So he's reckless attacking. He's frenzied, so he's getting three attacks. All of them have advantage, and then when he action surges, it's 6. He is almost always critting anytime he goes whole hog. So there are ways to not control when you crit, but definitely improve your chance of critting through that kind of stuff. Yeah, he does big boy damage. And the party always hastes him as well. That's the other thing. So like, they fucking strap a rocket to that man and send him in. I saw him do 150 damage to a boss once, like, just in one burst. Which, I know, like... I've heard more ridiculous calculations, but they're so specific. He consistently breaks 100 damage against, like, in a single round. Almost any time there's, like, a major boss fight. I have to, like, pad the boss an extra 150 HP just to not die in the first round. Not that I don't want my players feeling strong, but, like, they are definitely feeling the burn a little bit. I actually had a really funny thing I did to them during our last session, where, when the second time they hit a boss, she would attempt to switch places with a different party member. So, like, they'd have to make a charisma save, and if they failed it, they swap spots, and the mage, it was almost always a mage she swapped with, would take the hit instead of her. So they would have to, like, slow down and think about their attacking and be careful not to destroy each other as she's jumping around the arena. She also camouflaged herself as other party members constantly. But they managed to tag her, so they're all good there. Reminds me of my Dark Knight Makoti I had in a campaign. It was absolutely nuts for anything sugar. Man. A certain kind of sugar. Alright. if we're giving them something at 10th level... I feel like Bloodfest should be a core feature as well. I don't think we need to lock a resource regeneration behind one of the classes, so I think 13th is probably a fair thing to be randomly recouping your stuff. When you land a critical hit, you recover 1 munition. Six feet past a locked door just to get cookies. Hey, sometimes cookies are pretty important. Alright, so we got Bloodfest. I need to think of a different name. I like Strategist, but I'm sure there's a better name. Maybe I look at Thancred's titles a little more closely or something. There's something we can do there. I don't know what it is yet, but there's something. Was amusing because one of the party, a Lalafell who piggybacks, invested in sugar cubes and a fishing rod. They're using you like the fat chocobo mount. It's like, all right, time to take flight. Bust out the cake. I feel like 15th level can be a passive buff. I feel like interaction features that deep kind of suck. Or if there was going to be an interaction feature at that point, it needs to be 15 or don't bother. Alright, let's see. What else do we have here? What are our options? There's a lot of... Like, obviously, there's just, like, a bunch of attack things that they get. So much of their kit is attacking stuff. I think Aurora makes sense to give the tanking one. Give them some self-healing. What level does a Gunbreaker learn Aurora? 45. What are their other options? Keen Edge, No Mercy, Brutal Shell, Royal Guard... Alright, kind of a... I wouldn't call it a hot take, but like... What if they had Sentinel passively, and they didn't have to take a feat to have access to Sentinel? Those that don't know what Sentinel are off the top of their head, it's the thing that if you get an attack of opportunity, you stop them from moving. So it very much sets up that front line. You're like, no one's passing me. And call it Royal Guard. But there's got to be a trade-off if we do that. Because if they want to get it for free, they should take the feat. We can make it so if they spend half their movement, they assume a stance. Or maybe the dodge action. This is kind of Warriors thing, so I don't want to infringe on it too much. But I like the idea of, like, reaction-based attacking. Where, like, if you are attacked, you get to attack back. but I've used that on Samurai's subclass. I've used that in Warrior. But it makes sense for like a defensive guarding person to do it. It's the trouble of trying to balance 20 classes against each other. Squall got anything we can steal? That's a good question. I've looked into Squall a fair bit on the side. Let me just pull them up real quick. Like, we pop over to the Final Fantasy wiki and look at Squall. Alright, we can go. We can ignore the story and stuff. We want the gameplay. Show me the gameplay. A fake fan only played 4 tactics. Honestly, if you're playing through Tactics series, I think that you're deeply versed, but in a different way. If you really like the world for Tactics and all that, my recommendation is to check out 12 incorrectly. Nah, to be honest, if that's the criteria, I'm also a fake fan. Because my first Final Fantasy game I played was 14. I've kind of, like, I touched other ones, but the first one I actually played was 14. And then I've branched out from there. Yeah, starting from the back. I've played... I didn't get very deep into it, but I did play 6 a little bit. I played the first one a little bit. The first one's merciless, by the way. Like, I was having a hard time at the start of it. I think I have a better understanding of those old school RPG sets now. I might do better now, but yeah, it was... I touched 6, I want to go back to it. I've played 7. I played Triple Triad in 8. I did start 9 on stream. I never got back to it. I just got busy and it fell off my radar. I got to Al Bhed in 10, which is where you meet Riku. But I didn't... I got lost and then stopped playing, and I had rented it from Blockbuster. So the game got returned at that point. I played a good chunk of 13 too. I watched someone play the first 13. Oh god, Blockbuster. Yeah, there's a throwback for you, eh? I miss those days. Get off school, it's a Friday. Your mom brings you over to Blockbuster. You go in there, pick out a game to play over the weekend, get to buy some candy or chips or something, you're set. I had one friend who, so his parents were split up, and when we went to his dad's apartment, sometimes his dad would let us rent a whole ass console. And that was just the coolest fucking thing to me. Like, the thought of playing a console you don't own blew me away. He was like, yeah, we're renting the Xbox this weekend. And I'm like, oh man, I can't wait. And I was terrified. Halo, the first Halo scared the shit out of me. It's the first elite you run into in Halo 1. It jumps out at you in a hallway. It scared the shit out of me. I didn't want to play anymore. I distinctly remember taking out, because I loved the .hack game. I had the TCG cards, but I didn't know how to play the game. So I would make up dungeons and play on the tile floor with my cards. Oh, man. As an adult looking back, I was a weird kid. Or maybe not a weird kid, but definitely like a kid lost in my own head. I was able to run full dungeons just like on the floor using a trading card deck instead of like playing with toys or whatever. Yeah. There's shades of becoming a dungeon master all this time, but it took university to get there. Just before you knew, yeah. I even took a crack at D&D in high school, but it was as a player, and I just kind of went like, yeah, that was fun and a lot of work to get set up. I don't think I'll revisit this. But then my friend in university, she wanted to try playing it, and I was like, well, I've touched it before. I'm sure I could figure it out. And I agreed to DM if she got a party together. And then that's what really cracked the hobby open. Shoot, what is... Yeah, Halo 1, renting the console was just so cool. The first time I played Melee was when we rented a GameCube as well. We both had PS2s. God. I should... My first PS2 game was so scuffed. It was the Donald Duck superhero space game. PK Out of the Shadows. It was just like edgy Donald Duck. He didn't have the lisp or anything though, which was nice. But like my first like, I guess say real game, as if that like my first proper game, I guess, that wasn't like a spin-off movie game or IP game, was a Dark Cloud. God, I played so much Dark Cloud. Oh yeah, what'd you land on for your wedding outfit there, Zyka? Let's see. He's the most powerful party member due to Ranzo Kukin's limit breaks, sheer strength, and his gun blades, which can be manually triggered to deal a critical hit every time. Ooh! Ooh, 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 ooh! Not that we're going to make it auto-crit, but I feel like that makes an argument for being able to have an improved crit rate in-game. I do think having a increased crit rate and then recovering resources when you crit makes for a pretty nice cyclical resource thing for Gunbreaker. Makes it a pretty strong class without like making it too busted. Maybe that can be the 7th level thing. Give them improved crit, which it comes later than Fighter gets it, but everyone gets it because Fighter has to be a champion to get it. Okay. I'm sold. I've sold myself on it. I'll call it something different, but... We'll flesh that out in a bit. Make that more proper. Alright, what else does Squall offer us? Alright, he can come to wield variant models, although in cutscenes he always wields the revolver. He gains new limit break finishers from them. Gunblades provide 255% accuracy, making Squall the most proficient melee fighter as he never misses, even when afflicted by the darkness status. This I think we can use for inspiration for an exploration feature. Almost like a Sixth Sense or a call it like Hunter Sense or something, to lean into the lion heart. So it's like you're hunting like a lion. Maybe improve perception. Improved perception, maybe like limited blind sight. You know, like... God, blind sight's so strong though. Ugh. Maybe we just make it so they don't get disadvantaged attacking while blinded. I was gonna call it Predator Sense, but I feel maybe that's not the best name to use. You have advantage on perception checks and do not have disadvantage on attacks while blinded. There are 7 Gunblade models available for Squall to use. Limit Break, they come from Revolver, Sheer Trigger, Flame Saber, and Lionheart. See, neat thing here, 3 of these are the inspiration for the skills in 14. So Blasting Zone, Faded Circle, and Rough Divide. Lionheart, what does Lionheart actually do? Lionheart is Squall's ultimate Renzo Kukin finisher. Oh, okay. Oh, so is the Renzo Kukin, he just starts spam attacking, and then he has different finishers based on the weapon. Got it. When you use the burst... when you use your burst strike feature as a bonus action, you may make an additional weapon attack with your Gunblade. Okay, Royal Guard. I know what I want it to be, I just don't know how to word it off the cuff, so... You take a defensive stance, which allows you to better hold the line. Sentinel plus... Shoot, there's something else I had in mind for this. I don't remember what it is now, though. Plus, you know what might be kind of funny? Offering half cover to a creature if you are between a creature and its target, you provide half cover. Though, I don't really play with the cover rules all that often, so that might actually be the case by default. I'll leave that part out. I know I want them to have something that helps them hold the front line. High alert. Exploration feature. You have advantage. Okay, so I want this to be like Barbarian's Danger Sense. That's where I'm going with this. So let me pull up the description for that, and then I'm going to tweak it a little bit. You gain an uncanny sense of things nearby when things nearby aren't as they should be, giving you an edge to dodge away from danger. You have advantage on dex saves against effects you can see, such as traps and spells. I feel like combining that with being able to sniff out traps more easily. Yeah, a combination of like danger sense with trap detection and a not being able to be surprised. I think that's like a trio of effects that a highly skilled like bodyguard would have. And that's why I want to go for high alert. So it's kind of like it's exploration in that you're like maybe advantage with investigation checks. Because when I think investigation, it's like you're thoroughly going through the room. You know, like, check this wall for a secret switch, that kind of thing. Versus perception is like you're just looking around and hoping something stands out. So it kind of draws a parallel between Lionheart being a more wild, inspired, huntery, bestial approach to using the gunblade, and then the Vanguard's like trained professional protector. Okay. You gain proficiency in the investigation skill and have advantage on investigation checks when searching for traps. Additionally, you cannot be surprised. Yeah, what was Feral Instinct? If you are surprised at the beginning of combat and aren't incapacitated, you can act normally. There we go. That feels like a good little combo, so it's really hard to get a drop on you, and you're good at looking for traps, and you understand how to do that. I like that. I like it. Improved crit rate. I want to give them something a little more to chew on. Maybe we give improved crit rate at level 11 and Heart of Stone earlier, so it's still a battle feature, but it's one that's like more protective. Heart of Stone might fit better with the Vanguard though. All right, let's add some more pieces to the board to play around with. It's in perception, the trap skill usually though. I guess this is also my You're probably right. It's kind of like interpretation of skills. 5e skills investigation. Okay, so yeah, I guess the investigation's more informational. So it's like finding clues and hidden object. But looking, it's murky. The way I look at it is perception's like your ability to like do a scan and notice stuff is out of the way, so it's a lot more intuitive. Whereas like in my mind, investigation's both like looking for details in paperwork, but it's also like doing more formal poking around and looking for stuff. But my understanding of it might not match other people's understanding of it. Let me pull up the player's handbook. I will consult the tomes. Alright, I want... What is the, falls under ability checks, I think. 174. Okay, so perception, spot, hear, or otherwise detect the presence of something. Measures your general awareness of your surroundings and keenness of your senses. And then for investigation, you look around for clues and make deductions based on those clues. You make an intelligence check. You deduce the location of hidden objects, discern the appearance of a wound, what kind of weapon dealt it, determine the weakest point in a tunnel. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, what we have does work for this. It does come down to like formal detective work versus working more off your senses and intuition. So I will stand by my initial thought. But it's always good to double check our understanding. For hidden objects and traps. It's almost like a Secret Service kind of guy. Maybe I want to call this like Royal Guard or Bodyguard or something like that. And then make the ability, the first ability, which is about holding the line Vanguard. Alright, name subject to change. Did you want to see my wedding outfit or no? I would love to. Do you, let's see. I'm trying to think of, I think you got it in... Alright, yeah, so you're in there. You're in the... We do have a I don't advertise it very often, but we do have a Discord for the stream, as well as the Final Fantasy book. Are you still in the stream Discord, Zyka? I think that might be a better spot for it. And I can pull it up on stream if people wanted to take a quick look. Yeah, the Longhouse. Yeah, I don't really advertise this much because I should interact with it more, but truth is I'm kind of so busy and lazy I forget to. But yeah, the Longhouse. So I'll offer that if people want to check it out. I'm not in there super often, but you know, I'm a small fry, so it's not like there's a huge number of people hanging out in there either. But it is handy for sharing stuff. Yeah, if you want to throw it in showcase or pictures or... Yeah, do showcase. Oh, that looks nice. Here, I'll pull it up on Strim, since we've been chatting about it. So there's that. There's Zyka's wedding outfit there. Nice combo. I really like that top. There we go. Beauty. Okay, let's see. I feel like we're making good progress. Moving right along. I'm gonna take a swig. Alright, so I'm liking the theming of the Royal Guard archetype to be like very, very focused on protection, holding the line, that kind of thing. I think I'm gonna make its 10th level thing Aurora, so it gets some like personal sustain. It can heal himself. The defensive one after the blades and Bosja. Oh, yeah. Give up on clipping issues with my Aura's horns. Yeah. I like playing my Aura, but all the tank gear had capes this expansion. I hate the fact that tails clip through capes. It just looks so goofy to me. Alright, so we got Vanguard, High Alert, Aurora for some... I'll just type self-sustain using munitions. You know, this feels kind of meta to do, but I kind of like the idea of doing this. You know the classic combination of Polearm Master plus Sentinel? And you create like this area of protection? What if that was just built into the archetype? Like, you know? They're almost like a, it's like zone coverage for a linebacker. I think what I would do with it is when a creature steps within 10 feet of you, you can use your reaction to step 5 feet towards them and make an attack. So you have to have the space to move in on them, but you can like intercept them now. So like the bubble of control you have, that scrap fighting style tunnel fighter. Ooh, yeah. It's so interesting seeing like the lost stuff. Yeah, tunnel fighter. Bonus action, you enter a defensive stance that lasts until the start of your next turn. While in your defensive stance, you can make attacks of opportunity without using your reaction. You can also use your reaction to make a melee attack against a creature that moves more than 5 feet while within your reach. That's super strong, but I like it. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it would fit nicely for a later game upgrade. And then man. I'm still split on this improved crit rate piece. Yeah, so if they're getting... Man, this is going to be such an interesting combination of things, because basically we're building the perfect frontliner into their archetype, but that's really all they're getting out of taking Vanguard, or Royal Guard, but I think that makes sense. I feel like that's a fair trade-off, that they're not getting super flashy fun stuff, but instead they're like, I am the wall, no one's getting past me, I will intercept you, I will hit you, I will stop you. Because there's an interaction there where if you have Sentinel and Tunnel Fighter, you're stopping everyone you're hitting, I think, right? Let me look up Sentinel. When you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, their speed becomes 0. Okay, yeah, so... Creatures provide... okay, so it might be a bit more of a scuffed Sentinel, but then they get it back from Tunnel Fighter. Yeah, it drops the speed to 0. Cavalier does something like this, right? Yeah, they kind of have like a warding interference kind of buffing thing. Cavalier, it's their stuff's built around protecting as well, so it's you menace your foes, foiling their attacks and punishing them for harming others. When you hit a creature with a melee attack, you mark them until the end of your next turn. While it's within 5 feet of you, they have disadvantage on attacks that don't target you. In addition, if a creature marked by you deals damage to anyone other than you, you can use a special melee weapon attack against them as a bonus action on your next turn. That's kind of weird. Regardless of the number of creatures you mark, you can make this special attack a number of times equal to your strength mod. Oh! Hey, yo, that's kind of wild. You, like, stack up your... you mark people, and then if they move away... they... Okay, that's kind of cool. I like that. Cavalier has something cool going for it there. I'm just gonna write down mixing Tunnel Fighter plus Sentinel plus movement. for extra coverage. Alright, I'll hammer out the details, but I think that puts it at a pretty good spot. I feel like you can jam so much into these classes. Like, do we want Vanguard to have the superb lead, where they become immune to damage when they're knocked out for a turn? Or do we kind of... I don't think the original had superb lead. Or it did, but it... Yeah, no, it didn't. It was like a cap ability, where you just kept knocking them down and they get back up. Want to look at champion for a second as well, from fighter. Improved crit happens at level 3, and then 15 they improve the crit further. Huh. Every healer's heart attack. It's a hit point chicken. Am I gonna drop to 0 and you'll heal me right back up? Or are you gonna heal me up and then I'll drop to 0? Draw! Alright, taking their namesake from a legendary Gunbreaker of the past. Lionheart, I feel like it's getting to a good spot. But those last two abilities I'm not really sold on. So the original vision I had was they would land their they could use Relentless Rush, which was the original Renzo Kukin. So they could attack, 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 and blow out a munition, and as long as they're landing attacks, they can keep going. And then Relentless, or Terminal Trigger, would have been ending your combo willingly, and doing bonus damage by doing that. But I feel like I don't like it. It might be a little too much. Let's see. Well, this has been pretty useful in finding stuff. Ooh. I could take the old Rough Divide and give that to Gunbreaker at 7th level, and that gives them a thing that's a mix of both exploration and combat. So the original Rough Divide in the first build was as a bonus action you pop a munition and you gain the effects of jump or long strider until your next turn. So the idea is like you're doing the missile jump from Team Fortress 2 or something like that. So you're like blowing a munition to give yourself a little speed boost. So doing that to like jump really high or run faster during battle, or to like hop a ledge or something during your when you're trying to like explore around stuff. You know what? I think I like that. I think I'm gonna go with that. And we'll give it a little bit extra. Give it a little extra oomph. Your first attack after doing this has an improved crit rate. So it's not consistent, but you get your speed boost, you get to rush in. Yeah, so beginning at 7th level, as a bonus action, you expend 1 munitions charge to move as though you're under the effects of jump or long strider. Of the jump or long strider spell, your choice, until the start of your next turn. Additionally, your attacks after doing so land a critical hit on a die result 19 or 20. I like that. So it's, you know what, let's up the rate a little bit because it's temporary and it costs them a charge. But if they do land it, they get to do spicy damage. So they triple their crit rate for 1 round at the cost of a munition. And then they also get that movement increase. I like that. That feels like a nice balance between exploration and combat. And then we can pull Diplomatic Enforcer back. We'll leave Heart of Stone as a defensive thing. We'll have Bloodfest to start recycling in there. If they land those crits from Rough Divide, they get their munitions back. And then that... The other nice thing about, like, doing this... Alright, I'm gonna pop a munition to hopefully crit. I landed my crit. I'm gonna pop my... Burst Strike to get the crit damage increase on Burst Strike. Yeah, I think that all works together quite nicely. Alright, what was I doing at 15th level for them? Heart of Stone. When you are attacked by a melee weapon while wielding a gunblade, as a reaction you may expend 1 munition to gain +3 bonus to your AC against the attack roll. So that's old Heart of Stone. New Heart of Stone is, it's a damage reduction and temporary hit points. Heart of the Vanguard. Advantage on saving throws against being charmed and frightened. You gain proficiency in the intimidation skill. If you already have this skill, you gain expertise in it. Man. Let's move Bloodfest up. It's a passive combat increase, and then we'll do... we'll do that intimidation / resisting fear and charm. I call it, instead of Heart of the Vanguard, I'll call it Heartbreaker. And it can maintain that passive effect. Alright, what else was I doing with them? Let's see. Sonic Breaker, I was giving it to them at 17, even though my text is wrong and it says 11. It was used to make a massive shockwave. So it was a line attack, basically. I actually don't mind that. God, there's so many things that I wanted to, like... It's like balancing your personal likes with trying to not make everything feel the same. Because I like the idea of different classes having AoE effects that they can use for attacking as well. To get around AC, so like Dragoon's Jump, for example. Though that's core to their class. But doing stuff like, I think Reaper has like its Circle Slash, which makes everything dodge instead of you trying to land an attack. I like the idea of lots of different classes having like different attacking options. So like having an AoE option instead of just I swing sword good. But honestly, the way Gunbreaker's been building out here, I don't think it's really applicable, you know? Like, I feel like with Gunbreaker here, they have an identity of single target control / single target damage. Like the Royal Guard locks things down to protect a single, or not a single target, but like one at a time they're locking enemies down. Lionheart, you're focusing down one dude and you're beating his ass. And then the Thancred one, I can see an argument for almost making like an assassin-esque kind of build. So like you have camouflage to turn invisible. You get your what I'm picturing is a large crit rate increase while you're invisible, and then almost pulling in the assassin trait from Rogue. So it's like, yeah, I'm sneaking around, I'm invisible, I'm getting the jump on you. If I land this crit, you're taking massive damage. I think I'm going to drop the capstone and give them all Superba lead at 20th level. Because it feels like I'm trying to force extra into the archetype when I'm kind of running out of gas on stuff to give them playstyle wise. Yeah, so it's not focused on solely getting crits, but it has ways to fish for them a little better, and it rewards you for fishing for them. Yeah, so single target benefits a lot more than you normally would for landing crits. Extra attacks. I must step out, so just imagine me being wassailing encouragement your way. Well, thank you, thank you. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you around. Yeah, I think I got my puzzle pieces on the board. Like, this, I'm gonna make like something scouting flavored, exploration. I don't know what it's gonna be yet. Massively improved crit when invisible. Bonus damage on crits. It's almost like it needs a special, like strategist doesn't fit this at all, but it feels like it needs a special name for like medieval fantasy spec ops. And let's take the level 20 stuff out. Everyone's getting superbolied. Everyone can benefit from that. Very powerful. Though 18th level probably is a better fit. Most of the classes that have like a survival button tend to get it at 18th. And then I don't know, it feels like a cop-out doing this, but it makes sense. At 20th level, you're always just getting your... you're always able to get munitions. So like when you roll initiative, you gain 4 munitions. I think would be what I want to do for that one. And then we can name that... Draw Injunction? We can get our Draw Injunction in, baby! It's like they're opening a battle by drawing in power. Hey! Welcome, welcome, Steven. Huge fan of this project and I've been excitedly following it for quite some time. You're not... Are you the... One second. I might be misplacing you in my head. Have I seen you on Twitter by chance? Or do I have someone else in mind? Either way, welcome in. Thanks for dropping by. Okay, cool. I thought I recognized the name. Yeah, we're making some good progress. I feel like I've landed on like a proper identity. Or like a more concrete identity for Gunbreaker, where it's more focused on single target combat and stuff. I don't know how long you've been here watching, but we did a whole bunch of yapping and we've made some pretty good progress today. Sorry, now I'm just set. I've already answered my own question though. I don't need to look. All right, phone away. Tisk tisk. Looking at my phone during project time. Let's see. Yeah, show you what I've been cooking up here. Just saw the notification on Twitter and swung by. Yeah, it's... I would have liked to, like, schedule it a little more in advance, but I wasn't sure how the day was looking. And so I was just like, let's just get this kicked into gear, you know? Like, you know when kids on the playground are doing double dutch with skip ropes? So like, and you see the kids, they're watching the two ropes swinging and swinging and swinging. They're trying to find the right moment to hop in. That was me and my like feelings about getting the streaming going again, because I was just like, oh, there's 100 reasons why it's not a good time. I kept pushing it back and pushing it back. So I was finally feeling that that burn to be like, just fucking do it. What are you doing? So I know it's abrupt, but I'm glad to be back in the swing of it. I know people really enjoy like getting the insight into the project as well. Just hanging around, seeing what's going on with it. I went through, I have pre-alpha builds done for a bunch of different things. So new Scholar's done now. New Summoner is done. And new Sage is done. I won't retread them off the cuff. But if you're, I don't know if you're a part of the... This feels like a chain of little things, but like I did a... So the main form of communication for this was the subreddit. And then the subreddit, when Reddit had its big meltdown about APIs last year, the subreddit wanted me to make a Discord server, and that's kind of the main place where I talk about the project now. If you're part of like the workshop area in there and you're not just there for finished products, I have like temporary files of all these pre-releases going where I get some just like knee-jerk feedback on what I've been doing. So you can get like sneak peeks, you know? You know, if that's up your alley. But I find the server's been pretty chill. It's just like people being creative with D&D stuff, so I like to see it. Right. I feel like we're almost there. We're almost done. It's naming and formal writing when it comes to the archetypes. We need one more thing for Lionheart to like really finish it off with a bang. Maybe we do just go for Relentless Rush and just have them swing and swing and swing. I'll try and find the Discord link and swing by. I can just dig it out nice and quick for you if you want. You can set it aside and go whenever you like. Save you the digging. It doesn't take long. There we go. Ta-da! Yeah, no problem. Yeah, capstone. God, the capstones are so funny because it's supposed to be like your super good abilities. Hey, Kroll, posture check and a hydrate. Let's go. Good to see ya. I didn't break my model that time. Yeah, hello. It's been a hot minute. I've been a busy bee. I had to move. But like I'm finally settled at home and kind of like got the house in order and stuff, so I'm feeling comfy enough to come back to the streaming world again. Doing good, just tired. I feel that. I happen to be on vacation this week, but prior to it, I was just gassed. Balancing work and the move and everything, I was just dead on my feet. Is it a good tired or just like a life tired? Or Or even just like a not a good sleep tired. Superbly. When you roll initiative, you gain 3 munitions. We'll call it reserve cash. This is like they're digging deep. They got backups just in case something happens at 20th level, so they're always ready to deal with an issue. I feel like I've avoided using a lot of the tricks I was using before for these guys in a good way. I was honestly kind of surprised I was able to find as much as I was to leverage. Heart of Stone. I think I might change Heart of Stone to work a little bit differently. I like the idea of giving someone resistance. But maybe like resistance and like an AC... Resistance and an AC increase feels a little redundant, but giving a small HP shield just doesn't feel that great, considering what you can do with a munition. So maybe, yeah, I think I'll give them resistance to basic physical damage and the AC increase. I'll go Heartbreaker. Uh, 15 Bloodfest. 17, don't know yet. Superbly at 18. Got a new scythe for my Reaper in 14. Nice, which one? On my Reaper, I've been using the, it's like the stone one that has the heavenly lights on it from the first tier of the Savage Raids. That's been my go-to. And it probably will forever be the go-to. Avatar Scythe. That's the really grisly looking one, right? It's all spiky and bloody. What do you get from comedy? Nice. Yeah, that one's pretty sweet. What did I have at 14? Breaker style, so we can delete that entry. Oh, wait, no. Oh, wait. I'm confusing myself. Shit. Real talk. Is Sonic Breaker cool? Uh... 4d10 thunder damage and just like a big burst as an AoE. Maybe we up the damage a little bit and it takes a third of your munitions at that point. Hey, thanks for the follow, Marked. I gotta step away for a bit, but I'll likely be back soon. Sounds good. I'll see you when I see ya. So I go by Marked or Spark? Let's see, 100% gonna hide it until one of my Brit friends gets it so he doesn't hate me. He wanted it for ages. Ah. Oh, they just gotta get on the grind. They got 900 tomes as the cap a week now. They should be able to grind that out quick. I guess the swords are the bigger problem, but I don't think they're capped anymore. Alright, Spark works. Sounds good. I feel like I've heard that name, like Sparkworks, as a the name of a program or something. No, that's Spark Notes. Alright. I can see it, we're almost there. I guess Sentinel's probably the most important thing for the Vanguard thing, and then giving them the Tunnel Fighter as the next. And then the final part will be the ability to like move to intercept and provide you know what, I should Google that. I keep coming back to the idea. Alright, 5th edition. If a creature is between me and my target, does it have half cover? Do other creatures provide cover? Technically always provide half cover, a target with half cover. I get so obnoxious. Man. I play a little more loosey-goosey with my players when it comes to cover and stuff, so there are certain like nitty-gritty rules that I'm not as familiar with. Alright, so yeah, I would have just gave them an ability that is something that's just like a core rule. I think moving to intercept so that they can, when a creature comes within 15 feet of them, they can use their reaction to move up to half their movement speed and make a weapon attack as an attack of opportunity. It doesn't sound super strong, but when you pair it with Tunnel Fighter and Sentinel, I think that's actually quite strong. It kind of completes this combo of lock down the front line and be really obnoxious about it. Call it zone coverage. As a reaction, when a creature moves within 15 feet of you, you may use your reaction to move up to half your movement speed towards the creature and make a attack of opportunity against it. And then we're going to lean on Tunnel Fighter. While in your defensive stance, you can make opportunity attacks without using a reaction. Your action to make a melee attack against a creature that moves more than 5 feet within your reach. Shoot. Do we have a nice name that we can use for this, potentially? Not particularly from the look of it. Wait, what are our passives called again? So we got Tank Mastery, Cartridge Charge, some Masteries. Alright, nothing to really lean on for naming there. We got options. I just gotta think. Unyielding Heart instead of Heartbreaker. All right. Shove in more Bajra references. That's a good idea. Also, hello, hello. Mr. I always just want to go back to your original name. But for now, I'll use Mr. Muck. Yeah, the Royal Guard. Yeah, Vanguard gives them the Sentinel feat kind of deal. Alright, let's see. When you take a defensive stance, hold the line. Beginning at 3rd level, when you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, the creature's speed becomes 0 for the rest of the turn. When a creature within 5 feet of you makes an attack against a target other than you, and the target doesn't have... No, we can remove that part. You can use your reaction to make a melee weapon attack against the attacking creature. Alright, so it's like a slightly nerfed Sentinel, but then they get the provoke opportunity attacks when they go back into the tunnel fighting. So we're kind of remixing these into like a bunch of different abilities that all work together. A lot of people still call me Merle regardless. My name hasn't been that for 8 years, so don't worry. Yeah. It's one of those things that I always hesitate on when, like, you meet people in a game and you just know them as that name for a while, and then it changes, but you're just like, but I knew you as this. It's stuck in my head. But I try to... So I always hesitate. I got an alt with Merle, so it's Gucci. Hell yeah. Oh. I was having a little drink. The water drink in the avatar. Oh yeah. The camera doesn't like when I drink from my water bottle. I need one with a straw. Because it breaks the vision between my face and the camera. So it flips out. You know, I think we say fuck it. Give them Sonic Breaker as just like a big line attack AoE that they just have. It's either that or we improve the towards the straw focus libation cylinder. Thank you for the sub. PvP. Yeah, fuck it. We're just gonna go Relentless Rush. Give them the chain attack that they had before. Beginning at 14th level. When you use your attack action and land an attack, you may spend a munition. If I make it too restrictive, it doesn't work as I wanted it to. Oh, here's what I'll do. When you land an attack using the continuation feature, you may spend a munition. You may spend a munition to make an additional attack. So that gives us at least 3 attacks in a round. So you can make 3 attacks in a round, assuming one of them hit. So I land a hit. I use Burst Strike as a bonus action. I make an additional attack. That hit. In theory, I can Burst Strike off that if I want to. But because continuation hit, I can now use Relentless Rush and hit again. So I can chain 3 attacks off of 1 attack hitting. It seems good. I want to add the thing that lets them keep going, as long as they keep hitting. But because it chains off a continuation, they can't do it multiple. They can't make multiple chains in a turn, so that covers that. And it's kind of just their opportunity to pop the fuck off. Okay. Yeah. You know what? It's the capstone of the archetype. They can go a little off the rails. Why not? You may spend a munition. And then haste can't be used to reactivate all that shit because haste gives you an extra action. It doesn't give you a bonus action. I don't know if they can do it off action search though. Let me check that. On your turn, you take 1 additional action. So again, you can't... Alright, I like this. It's not abusable if you're chaining it off of the continuation attack. So you can't just keep making new chains of Relentless Rush. If this attack lands, you may spend another munition to make another additional attack. You may do this until your relentless rush attack misses. I think that makes sense. There's probably a better way to word that, but the message is there. Alright, zone coverage works. You can force an opportunity attack, which then stops them from moving if you land it. And even if it doesn't, you can keep beating on them with your tunnel fighter. Oh my god, that's actually really funny. So if something comes within 15 feet of you, you run up on them, and even if you miss the attack that would stop them, if they keep walking past you, you just keep swinging on them until they stop. Because they're just in your range and you're just fucking hitting them as they walk away. And if any of those subsequent hits land, it applies the Sentinel effect and then they don't get to move anyway. Okay, that's actually hilariously effective. And very strong. I might want to swap zone coverage with Tunnel Fighter stand, like the Tunnel Fighter ability. So that they can't just fucking... Yeah, Tunnel Fighter's really strong. I see why it never made it out of beta. That's wild. If you get them in the right spot, you can just fucking rain hell on them. And then we have to remember, anytime you land one of these hits, you can burst strike it. So you're always able to spike the damage on any of these hits. May spend a munition to cast the invisibility spell on yourself. Massively improved crit. When you make an attack roll while invisible, your attack lands a crit on a die result. This is a little crazy. 15 on a die result, 15 to 20. 1 in 4 chance of landing that fucking crit if you're hitting from invisible. And then, if I take the assassin crit thing, when you land an attack, hit a creature that is surprised, it must make a Constitution save. On a failed save, double the damage of your attack against the creature. Okay. We'll name this... Oh, there we go, there's a name. Terminal Trigger. When you land a critical hit on a creature, It must make a Constitution saving throw against your Gunbreaker save DC. I really don't make use of this Gunbreaker save DC much. It does come up a little bit, so... on a failure... How did they word this assassin's thing? On a failed save, double the damage of your attack against the creature. When you land a critical hit on a creature while invisible, that's the key. Nah, you know what? The other two are going pretty hard on their special abilities. Restricting this one feels kind of shitty if they have to save in order to get the effect. When you land a critical hit on a creature, it must make a Constitution saving throw against your Gunbreaker save DC. On a failed save, double the damage of your... Let's limit it a little bit. Double the damage of your burst strike. Double the burst. Double any burst strike damage. How are we wording this? Double the damage of your attack against the creature. Fuck. You don't realize why armor in your inventory until after the armory chest is full. Yeah. I need to do a good scrubbing of my armory chest and my glamour chest in 14s. I am the worst pack rat. I just don't want to go back to dungeons to grind them to try and get gear on the off chance I need a certain piece. But, I'm due for a good cleaning. Alright, failed save. Double the damage of your attack against the creature. Oh, I mean, the assassin has the surprise for such a potent effect. So do we make it more consistent where you can double the damage on your burst strike when you crit? Or do we all in on this, but you have to do it from invisibility? Oh, but the assassin's is if you hit a creature that's surprised. There's no crit requirement. It's just if you're hitting a surprised creature, you double the damage. You know what? I think the burst strike buff makes it better. So when you land a critical hit on creature, it must make a Constitution saving throw. And you use your burst strike feature. It must make a Constitution saving throw against your Gunbreaker. Double the damage of your burst strike. Okay, that makes it more consistent. It's not as good as the assassin thing, but like it does make it more consistent to be able to be applied, which I think is important as well, being able to actually use the ability. Just have to figure out what we're doing with 17th level. Oh. I need to add a little something something. I'm going to add additional elements at 10th level for element burst. Additionally, at 10th level, you may use force, necrotic, or radiant damage. You may change your burst strike damage to force, necrotic, or radiant damage. Switch to starting. Yeah, starting at 10th level, you can change your burst strike damage to force, necrotic, or radiant damage. Cool. It's a little personal note that I wanted to make sure I kept. My weapon armory chest also has in progress Heavensward relics. How many do you have? Do you just have one or two, or like, are you stacked to the brim? I remember when the Heavensward relic came out, they did this really sick thing where it was nice that they did this. If you had completed a Realm Reborn relic, they let you skip the first step of Heavensward's relic. But the way they worded the message to do it was really trolly, because they made it sound like you could fail. Like, they implied that it wasn't a 100% chance that it would work, and you had to sacrifice your weapon, and there was a chance you wouldn't get anything back. It was kind of fucked up that they did that. Really funny, but fucked. You got 4 on the go. Yeah, that's a fair number. I feel like the game sometimes turns into a rush to the bottom when it comes to inventory management. You may not have more than 10 munitions charges prepared. Alright, so Royal Guard gets to lock stuff down and just be an absolute frontline menace in terms of keeping shit in place. Lionheart's all about I hit, and I change elements as I do it to do bonus damage. Infiltrator, I turn invisible and I aim to get nasty crits and just like gank the hell out of people. Yeah, really the only thing I'm stuck on. So the scouting feature, I'm thinking I give them 30 feet climbing speed, 30 feet swim speed, or climbing and swimming speeds equal to their movement speed, and proficiency with thieves tools. So they become like an expert. Basically, they're going full spy mode. So turn invisible, sneak around, break into places, and then you assassinate your targets with a well-placed crit and just blow them up. Yeah, so my theme of locking things down and focusing on single targets is still intact. I like the way I've used munitions. I'm really liking my Gunbreaker rework here. You gain a climbing and swim speed equal to your movement speed. Additionally, you gain proficiency in thieves tools. For the Gunbreaker, strength or dexterity. Let people have some flexibility, and if they want to be a dex person, or if they want to be a strength person. I'm gonna adore seeing my friend Josh scramble to get his Froth Gunbreaker sorted out. I hope they really like what I'm doing here, because, like, I don't think old Gunbreaker's bad, but it was unfocused. You know, like, it's another one that I built before the class was fully out, and then once it was out, I tried to salvage as much as I could, but because it didn't have that focus to it when I originally built it, it ended up kind of like missing a little bit. I had based it off of Squall as opposed to like fully off of Squall and his stuff as opposed to what's in game. Uh, 17th level. Maybe a defensive thing. It's like, what if I gave them Nebula? And give them damage resistance for, you know, they use a munition to gain damage resistance until the start of their next turn. Help them survive in the mix of things, and anyone can do it. Kind of steps on Heart of Stone's toes, though. Which was my original issue when I made Gunbreaker. What else did I do with Gunbreaker? Let me look at its other things. Blasting Zone. I gave them Blasting Zone at 11th level, Sonic Breaker at 17th. One of their features was just loading munitions into their Gunblade, which I'm kind of ignoring now. Bombardment. Use following abilities with your gunner shot. Oh, okay. God. I feel like Yeah, I think haphazardly jamming an AoE effect into this isn't the play. I think giving them some survivability is a good idea. Like, just like some more late game surviving stuff. So I think I'll actually take the Nebula Burst from the OG. To give them like a reactionary damage reduction. Alright, beginning at 17th level, when you take damage, as a reaction you may expend one munitions charge. To reduce the damage taken by, let's call it 2d6 plus your con modifier, and all creatures within 5 feet of you take thunder damage equal to, just call it the reduced amount. Let's add a little bit of extra spice to it, so plus your proficiency bonus, plus your constitution ability modifier. Make it really worth doing. But maybe I'm making it too worth doing. Because Royal Guard's built all around. You know what? Call it situational. Maybe I take the offense off. And just call it Nebula. Nebula Shield. Then at 17th level, yeah, it's just +6. You know, that's a pretty spicy damage reduction, so, you know, I don't think you would spam that, but it could be the difference between going down and staying up, so I think it's worth. But then you get Superbly directly after. I'm gonna think on that one a little bit more, but I do feel good about it. Let me think. Let me open up Twitch here. I'm starting to get to that point, I think, where I'm gonna turn in soon. I need to seek out like a wider selection of people to raid, I think. Yeah, like, I don't think the damage reduction's bad, but I think there could be something better. Even going for 3.5 hours. Yeah, I've been just chattering on. Honestly, we got it done. I didn't think I'd actually finish it tonight. So I'm glad we actually got it done at least. So that's good. Let me see here. I'm trying to, so like I have a few people on my friends list here. Let's go for something. I'm gonna send us somewhere where they're doing some cozy stuff. So I'm gonna go for a different VTuber named Chime, who looks like she's just playing a cozy game. So we can go from cozy D&D homebrewing vibes to, they're playing, what is it? Strange Horticulture. So I'm assuming it's some kind of like farming thing. Yeah, have a good night. It's been good hanging out. I hope to do more of these. Mostly to keep myself going. Instead of being lazy. I also hope to do, I need to play the new Star Rail patch still, so I'll probably, depending on how the day goes, I might do that tomorrow. Anyway, I'm going to start the raid countdown. Thanks for hanging out. I'm going to get this Gunbreaker cleaned up a little bit before I post it up. But, yeah, thanks for hanging out, everyone. It's been nice coming back to the stream stuff. Hope to be in the swing of things going forward. And I will catch you guys next time. Alright, have a good night. Peace.